I'm Scott.
I'm Russell.
And I'm Leo. This is Spitball. Welcome to Spitball, the pitching kitchen, where three web weavers empty our heads of startup and tech product ideas that we have stuck up in there so you can all have them for free. Anything that we say is yours to keep. Scott, who'd you bring with us this week?
This week, we have one of my oldest friends and former roommate, Doyle.
Hey, I didn't know that. That's fun.
Hey, glad to be here. Yeah, we were for a little bit. Yep.
Welcome to the
It
show.
was good times.
Good times.
It was good times. Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Good deal. All right, this week I've brought a new game for us to try out. This week we're going to be playing Wisdom of the Crowdfund. So, in this game, I don't know how familiar are you guys with like history of famous Kickstarters and Indiegogos? Is that a scene that you're in?
I have heard of Kickstarter.
Oh, good. That's good news.
Yeah. I know of Exploding Kittens absolutely blowing Kickstarter up, followed by, as we were talking about actually before the show, Brandon Sanderson blowing up Kickstarter, but that's about all I know.
Okay, I haven't picked either of those for this game. So in this game, we have we have a series of bizarre Kickstarters that have all been successfully funded over the years. These are things that you may or may not even think should have been funded or backed. And we're going to go through line by line here and take turns to decide whether or not they actually delivered on the product that they said they would, or if this was a complete sham and scam and they never got what they paid for.
Love it.
And let's start, of course, as we do every week with our guest, Doyle. I'd like to pitch to you first.
Hey.
We have a product here called Slice of Sauce. Now, this is a no-mess slice of ketchup. You could go to Kickstarter, back it, and Bo's original slice of sauce was a flavor-packed condiment. It looked like a craft singles, only it was gelatinous red, and it was a slice of ketchup. Now,
Just ketchup,
that got
no other condiment?
just ketchup. There was only ketchup to start here. That was backed by 677 backers and got $30,000.
That's a red flag.
So for $30,000, they blew past their goal. But yes or no, did it ship?
Ooh. So it wasn't whether this exists.
It existed. It was real. It's a thing that happens.
So it's not like you're
so
making
happy.
up
Well,
a Kickstarter.
did it exist in the fact that did they actually make something? Or was this just a photo shoot and a scam?
Okay. I have to say that yes, that absolutely it has to be easy enough to like just with a little bit of pudding mix and ketchup onto like a baking tray.
Put it in a sandwich bag.
You are absolutely right. Slice of Sauce shipped to all backers and was a raving success. Not only was it a success, it was made by a restaurateur in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, our home state.
Oh, wow.
Russell, next, the Scarp Laser Razor, 21st Century Shaving. Now, this was a razor that looked kind of like a safety razor that you'd hold here, but instead of a blade, it had a glowing red light and was pitched as the first ever razor that was powered by a laser, irritation-free. It got $507,000, 255% of its goal on Indiegogo. But yes or no, did it ship to people?
Yikes. This is like one of those things where you take one of those electric lighters and you're like, all right, let's ship it.
Yeah, right.
Like it cuts hair. I'm going to say it shipped, but everybody asked for a refund.
Not only did it not ship, Indiegogo suspended the whole campaign and did not allow it to complete.
Whoa.
Yep.
Why? What was
They didn't even have a functional prototype, which was a rule.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Just
great.
shipping
Yeah.
high-powered
That's a good start.
lasers and saying, point them at your face.
Yeah, just point it at your face.
Guys, I'm 99% sure lasers exist. And if TVs taught me anything, they cut things.
Scott,
$500,000.
I'd like to tell you about my fantastic new product. It's called Telespec, TELLSPEC with a capital S. What's in your food? This is a handheld scanner that offered real-time food testing, food safety, and food authenticity. You pointed this scanner at food, and it'll tell you all kinds of details about it, whether or not it's legit. Yes or no, did that actually... Oh, sorry, it got $386,000, almost 400% of its goal. But did it ship?
Can you tell me what year?
I can. The country of
Can you use it
origin.
in a sentence?
Yeah, right.
Can you use it in a sentence?
This was, I believe, 2016.
It did not ship. There's no way they could do that then.
They got all the way to the point of firmware and manufacturing and stuff, but no, you are correct. It did not ship. Sorry to say.
No. The FDA would be fixed, right?
If this was like the last year, I'd be like, okay, maybe, just some chat GPT plugin or whatever. That
Apparently they shipped something to some people, but it was a rebrand of some other product that already existed and did not do anything for what it said it would. Round 2, Doyle.
Yeah.
The iFind, the world's first battery-free item location tag, like an AirTag or a tile tracker, but it promised to be a battery-free tracker using Bluetooth that harnessed radio waves from the air around you for just enough energy to
oh, that's so cool.
yeah,
Well, that's
so it had a $25,000 goal. It got $546,000. It blew past its
wow.
goal, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of percent. But did it ship?
I'm going to say no, because if it did, AirTag would be using it already.
Oh, that doesn't sound like the
Like
Apple
the
I know.
fundamental technology, right?
Yeah, you are
Yeah, that's
absolutely
true,
right.
actually.
9 years ago, it was also
Yeah, no.
suspended by Kickstarter. That shit didn't even exist.
No.
Russell, Bust CST01, the world's thinnest watch. This is a flexible wristwatch that's an e-ink display, and it goes all the way around, kind of like a slap bracelet, where you put it on. It had just the time and nothing else. It was a really, really thin wristwatch.
How many backers?
7,600 backers that pledged over $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, just take everybody that loves Pebble and funnel them into this
Yeah.
scam. Never shipped.
Absolutely right. It did never shipped. Yes. Total bust.
Russell, are you telling me people don't wear their Pebble anymore?
Oh no, there's a hardcore community that I would still be a part of right now if it still existed.
For those listening, Russell has 4 pebbles on right now.
If Fitbit didn't buy Pebble and then Google
Two of them are watches.
bought Fitbit, I'm like, oh, you see?
I've got my Pebble time
Oh, there
and
we
my
go.
Pebble time round right here. Our good friend
called the wrong
Andrew
person
also
out.
has his.
It's the goat. It's the goat of
They
watches.
still work. Yeah. There's a whole community to make them still work. It's great. Scott. Oh, do I have a pitch for you?
Oh,
This
boy.
is called the Romp Him, HIM, the world's first male romper. This is a
It shipped.
repeat
And the name they come up with
Kickstarter.
is Romp Him?
Romp Him, ROMP capital HIM.
real good?
This had 3,000 backers, $353,000 in 2017. It's a romper in
hate
fun fraternity looking patterns, kind of splotchy whatever, and it was a
Is there
romper.
the 90s? Is there the 90s swish?
It's got 90s swish
You know
vibe.
that?
Jazz, I believe was the name of that.
No,
patent.
but like
yeah,
jazz.
it doesn't actually have that, but similar. Yeah.
Ah.
That is
Yes or no? Did it ship?
not a high barrier to entry. I say it definitely shipped.
It definitely shipped. You're
Awesome.
absolutely right.
I'm going to buy one right after this.
The Romp Him, an excellent Christmas gift. One more round.
Let's go.
One more.
Let's go again.
Doyle, the Smarty Ring. This is kind of like an Aura ring a couple of years back that is the first ring of its kind. It was a notification alerts buzz in a ring that you wore on your finger. It had a tiny OLED screen and not much else. It would buzz when you got notifications. It had a little tiny screen, promised to be a lot. It raised almost $300,000, 744% of its goal of $40,000. But did it ship?
If it was just the vibration, I would say yes. But an OLED screen seems like a lot to put in a ring, so I'm going to say no.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Not only that, they famously started a second campaign to raise more money without delivering to the first yet, and it pissed off a lot of people. Bluetooth 4.0 technology. It didn't even promise to do a lot. I'm surprised it didn't make it. The screen, I guess, but yeah, never happened. Russell, the transporter.
Ooh.
This is a portable hard drive that you can turn into a online off the cloud storage solution. So it's kind of like a NAS. You put your files on it. It sits there. It looks like a router, black, sleek looking thing. It's for storing your files on your network. It got 1,055 backers and $260,000 way back in
Ooh.
2013.
Wait, it's just a wireless portable hard
It's
drive?
a wireless portable hard drive that
Okay.
you put your own hard drive in, and it made a private cloud.
That's pretty
Wait,
cool.
what's the name of this product?
The transporter.
Oh.
You have not heard of this product.
I've heard of something. I think.
I mean, it's like a NAS or a time machine or whatever, but
Right.
it promised quite a bit in this time where that was not really super popular yet. It got $260,000.
I think
But
it
didn't it-
happened. Wait, hold on. How many gigabytes did it store?
No, you bring your own drive.
Oh, it's BYOD.
They had a version that you
Yeah,
could
you
buy.
got it.
They had a version you could buy with 1 terabyte hard drive that it shipped with, but the regular version was you bring your own.
Oh, well then totally yes. It happened.
Use any capacity mobile drive. It says
Just a USB hub.
it did indeed happen. You're absolutely right.
I like that one.
It
That's good.
barely made it through. Yeah.
Wow.
And then lastly, Scott, the M printer. That's a lowercase m, capital P, an analog printer for a digital world. Small black receipt printer, thermal printer that printed snippets of information that they called M prints. You could set it up with your phone so that you print out the weather for today, or a to-do list, or your Facebook notifications, or I don't know, like Sudoku puzzles and the headlines for the day. You set it on your counter. You walk out the door with your receipt full of information, like a little mini personalized
Whoa.
newspaper.
Because your screen's not good enough?
$88,000.
Can I print
Well,
coupons?
this was 2015. Different time in 2015. 700 backers, $88,000. But did it actually ship?
Didn't Nintendo did this, right? In the late 90s? The Game Boy
The Game
printer.
Boy printer. Yeah.
Oh.
Like that, a little bit bigger.
Okay, then this definitely shipped. Also, I love that idea. Could have used that last week with Sam.
It never even shipped. This is a product that you'd think like a thermal printer, you put it like an ESP32 on it or something, you're good, right? You go to AliExpress and you glue a circuit board onto a thing that already exists and you're done. But nope. They had a whole promise and never even shipped a thing.
Lame.
That
I lost track of our
I don't know.
scores.
I just know.
I think I
Yeah,
won.
I think we
We
all
all
won.
win.
Leo
win.
wins for finding all of
I think
these.
we all won.
Thanks very much to the shitty Kickstarter subreddit for some of your inspiration.
Yeah. I like that game. That was a good game.
Sweet.
All right, Scott, you're up first this week. What do you got for us?
All right, here is my half-baked idea. Actually,
Excellent.
just seeing Doyle and being able to interact with him. Doyle lives in New York right now,
Yeah.
and I'm currently in Michigan, and it is nice to be able to catch up with
It's
him.
very nice to be able to catch up with you guys.
And so I'm going to combine that with. Do you guys remember Woot before they got bought out? I don't know. I think
Sure.
Amazon did it.
Yeah.
So it's a website where it's one product a day, and you just kind of check it, like not like an auction, but just, hey, they're selling this today. Do I want it or no? Yay or nay? I'm going to combine that with Doyle being in New York with a subscription service. So you pay a monthly, like 10, 20 bucks a month, and then maybe once or twice a month, an item you'll get notified that this is the item this month. You can either buy it for yourself or send it to a friend on here in order to maintain contact with someone or stay in touch or whatnot. So say the item this week is what'd you call them, a romp him? Or
Yeah.
yeah, I see that and I get a notification like, hey, you've already paid for this because you paid for your subscription. Who do you want to send this to? And I'd be like, this is for Doyle. This is built for Doyle. I'm going to send it to him with a note or zero context or nothing. And that way I can, just kind of stay connected with someone. That's the idea.
Fantastic.
Peak consumerism.
So you can just send
You
random
do-
Yeah.
crap to anyone.
Absolutely random clap. A pair of
Especially me.
socks, a bag of dog treats, like whatever. But it lets you think about like, this really screams Russell right here. I'm just going to send this to Russell.
Do you tell it?
It's a social network, but physical goods. I
Yeah,
love
do you
it.
tell it who you're sending stuff to, and then it finds more things like that thing for that
Yeah.
person?
Well, it's always the same item for everyone
Oh,
in the
okay,
whole
okay.
using the service. Like, yeah, this week is
Sure.
this, fancy pair of Harry Potter socks or whatever. Who would like this best?
Woot was genius because it was selling overstocked stuff, right? They had too much of one thing in the thing, and how do we get rid of it? And there was always limited supply. They made a big deal about, hey, there's only 35% of these are remaining, right? Now's your chance. They gave you a lot of FOMO. Combining that with also, I feel warm and fuzzy because I'm sending a gift. That makes a lot of
Well,
sense.
I think
yeah.
the question is, what happened to them?
They got bought by Amazon, I
Oh.
think.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what happens to all
And then
of
the
us.
founder went and started another one.
He just
Oh,
made
really?
the exact same site again called Meh.
right? Yeah.
Man,
Was it
that's
really?
right.
Mhm.
He did.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Meh.
he still exists too.
Ugh.
Exact same.
Net.com.
But now when you go to Woot, you can get special benefits if you're an Amazon Prime member. It's kind of sad.
Okay, I wanna throw a loop in this. So all those
Please.
Amazon returns, those bins,
Ooh.
bulk bin buying. Okay, turn this into every month you spend $20 and you can randomly it's straight up like a click shuffle. Like if it's just the bins, those shopping bins that are stupid cheap,
Yeah.
and you get your item and it's like, who do you want this, or do you want to send it to somebody else, right? And it's just you have like 3 rerolls, and then after the third one you're like, all right, you're stuck with this one. We're sending it to your house, or you're sending it to a friend. So it's either like a gag gift, or it could be a full-on like returned Amazon drone, coffee roaster. It could go wild card with this, right? Because you can buy those bulk return bins at like a flat rate, and so now people are on there subscribing for the lucky coffee grinder that costs $150, or they're like, I'm just gonna send Doyle a pair of socks. Right?
Woot did that famously. They have the bag of crap, which is a mystery item.
I love the bag of crap.
Like 10, 15, 20 years ago, whenever it was that they had the Nintendo Wii, they went out and sent all their employees to wait in line, and they all got Wiis. And then that was one of the things they sent out for the bag of crap when you couldn't buy them anywhere. And it was like a really big deal. Yeah, you could leverage that FOMO. I love it.
What I like about your addition, Russell, to that is that sort of you found what Woot found. Like Woot had found, okay, we have overstocked items and we need to get rid of them. What you're taking, like, okay, you have these random boxes that Amazon puts together of returned items. Like, let's turn that into money, because like if you could buy for, what is it, like $300 a box of things that are, probably retail worth $2,000, but you can't do anything with them. But yeah, I think you found it. You just you keep buying those boxes, and then whatever was in those boxes is what's on sale on the site that day. I think it doesn't necessarily have to be one item. It could be, we only have one of each item, and as things get picked, it's gone.
First come, first serve.
I don't know. I have a PS5 in here today. It's gone in 10 seconds somehow because someone wrote a script to do that. But
yeah, there's a problem. Like, you could just be sending broken things, like just straight broken equipment to somebody, or claiming it for yourself. So there's a balance.
You could have a pretty easy.
You risk.
Could have a pretty easy.
You check that box.
No, you could pretty easily cover that. I mean, like we were saying, like it's $300 for the box or something like that. I think you can have 500, and it's probably $3,000 worth of items. Like, okay, 1/4 of them are broken. You just go, oh, sorry, okay, don't worry about it.
We'll send you another. Yeah,
it's
here,
fine.
We'll pull it out of the other bin. Yeah, that's true.
I guess give them their money back, and you're like, sorry, no problem. But you've already made your money off all the other things that did work.
That's right. Yeah. Add 5 more rerolls to your next order.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Here's your money.
We're going to be considered gambling in no time. Just watch.
Well, but we're actually undoing the mystery box of it. We're taking the gambling out of it.
Yeah,
we're gambling that we'll be able to sell it. But the internet's a big place.
We have a local auction house here in West Michigan that buys them in bulk and gets the pallets and then breaks them up and does just an auction site. I've gotten all kinds of great stuff from them. It's great.
So this is like dropship though too, right, Scott? Like you could buy like 1 million of Bose headphones and all of a sudden and get them stupid cheap and
mass drop. You mean
mass drop? So mass drop subscribed.
And then if you have over inventory at the end, just sell all to Woot or something.
Ooh, or if you wanted to keep the element of surprise, right? That you guys like, if you want to leave it a little bit mysterious, you just do a silhouette of the item on on the show.
Who's that Pokemon?
People buy it based off what they think that probably is.
Next to a banana for
$5.
That looks like a Leo shape. I'm going to send that to him.
That pair of headphones could be a $2,000 Sennheiser set, or
it's like a doll turned sideways.
Skull candy.
Or a skull candy, right?
Or a skull candy,
yeah.
Dude, this is cool, Scott. I think it's just like the experience. It's like lottery, a subscribed lottery model or something, or like, because it is random items every month anyway, right?
Right.
Yep.
So that's just interesting. I think there's a missed opportunity to ship mass amounts of like goods, because it's, for one of our podcast guests, it was cheaper or just as cost effective and convenient to buy a microphone and send it through Amazon than to ship one of our own personal microphones. So there's an element of
really
why ship it? Just buy it. Maybe there's a whole website that you can create like that. Just it's cheaper to buy it.com. Something, I don't know.
Make a website that
3 ideas have come from this one.
Make a website that tracks what you're trying to ship and then immediately puts an ad that says you could just buy this.
Dude, honey.com.
4 ideas.
Yes.
Honey for things you're trying to ship.
Dude, okay, I'm going to add on to this a little bit more, Scott. This is a fun idea, because what if you take, like, you just send, like, all right, you mass drop 10 random pieces of art, let's say, and you can send them to like 10 or 5 of your friends, and now you all share the same piece of crap all of a sudden, right?
All 5 of your friends' wives are mad at you at the same time. It's great.
Or it's just like, it's like, oh, I did this subscription box, and I have to sign up 3 other friends. And so now it's like, all right, we're all subscribed, and it's always, we all get shipped the same thing every month so that we all talk about it. So if it is a pair of socks, we all got the same pair, and now we can all, did you guys get your mystery box from scottssocks.com?
So you just have to sign up 3 of your friends, and then they have to sign up 3 friends, and then you get a cut of every time.
It's very triangle shaped.
Yeah,
I like
No,
that.
they don't buy it. You, Scott, got subscribed $40 a month, and you have to add 3 friends to be a part of this.
Right.
You're gifting it.
Oh, I'm still the one who paid for everything. Yeah, okay. I actually like that a lot because when I do send, I gift one of these items to one of my friends, it comes with our branding and packaging on it. So maybe they'll do it for someone else then.
Yeah.
And it's like a pyramid
little card.
scheme.
It's
But
sideways, though.
not
It's sideways
sideways.
pyramid. So you start, and then you send it to your friends after 3 months. They're like, you know what? I want to do it with my parents and
This
my
sucks.
siblings.
Opt out. Unsubscribe,
I just
please.
have
But that's
say
the
that
beauty.
my-
You can't. You can't.
I have to say, like my relationship with stuff, like having moved from Michigan to New York, however long ago that was, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I don't know however long it was. I'm still getting rid of things that I have had from Michigan that I'm like, why is this taking up space in my apartment? Like it's small here, guys. Every square foot counts, and the idea of
Yeah.
sending people stuff they don't need, it like deeply hurts me. I just like, that's more stuff that I just can't let go of because I care about it,
Yeah.
but just takes up space in my
That's the prank. That's the
life.
prank, dude. We all got the same beer bottle opener now. You're stuck with it.
Well, that I'll take. That you always need more beer bottles.
See, and then we can all shit on the same romper that we're all sharing, right? Like you send a romper to everybody, and now we're all like, all right, did you get a romper?
No, again,
Romp
that I'll
him?
keep. That I would keep.
You see,
But the
this
name is
ain't so
terrible.
bad.
Romp him is a terrible name.
Okay, Russell, what do you got?
So, guys, here's the thing: we have a incredible resource in every local community. It's a they're called like the community centers, where you go to figure out where like every city has this where they get visitors. They have the website. They tell you about events about a city. Visitors bureaus. Okay, I know. So these visitor bureaus know all the best spots to go on dates. They know all the spots to hang out, the best deals, the best happy hours, because they have to. It's their job to know and just communicate information to people. So my idea, this is a Russell's Love Corner idea,
Cue the music.
is you take these experts in a geographic region, and you get all these single people, and you work with these small businesses to bring them all together. And you say, hey, send me on a date. You go to these visitor bureaus and you catch up with people, and the visitors bureaus will match you with either singles events or hell, even if you're a couple, they can send you on a date to find like, all right, this isn't busy on Tuesdays, really good spot. It's kind of like finding hidden gems within your local area. They need money. They need they need a way to, like, I think, connect with not just visitors but like the local residents too.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, this is send me on a date.
And businesses could pay you to pull in the
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
When businesses come to you and they say, yeah, can you put me on the books for next Tuesday? You charge a fee, and then suddenly they have a couple hundred customers or whatever. Yeah.
I think it could be like, you could almost have like a date planner, like on the thing, where you're like, oh, I've meant to plan a date, with my wife or with my girlfriend, or, the person who I asked out on a date. Now I don't know where to take them. You could you could go on the thing and just be like, I need a date. Like, what am I doing? And it could come up with like a schedule for the day, right?
Burst into the bureau. I need a date.
I'll be honest, I tried to make this a singles app idea because I thought it'd be better. But you know what? It is actually why I wrote it down. Is because every once in a while, it's like my anniversary. I've been to every freaking restaurant in this area. And I just am like, mix it up, please. Somebody, anybody. And so I called the Visitors Bureau and they're like, have you tried this place and this place and this place? Sure enough, there's like 3 places I've never heard of within 20 minutes of here. I'm like, thank you so much.
Right.
Everybody should use you. You were the matchmaker. Or better, no, sorry, making my life better through Visitors Bureaus.
I think the couples that already exist still count as part of your love corner.
You are. Yeah.
You're just a guru.
You're just a guru.
I'm just trying to streamline relationships,
No, I think that's a good idea. I mean, like here in Brooklyn, we have, a lot of like things in the city that, are known and exist. Like, for instance, we have the botanical gardens, or actually Greenwood Cemetery, as weird as it says to be a cemetery. The cemetery is actually really cool. And they have events. They have things like they have classes on like apiaries, like handling apiaries and bees in the cemetery. They have this last summer I went to, they had like fire jugglers and like circus performers in the cemetery. Yeah. No.
What?
Like,
why?
because it's like,
That's hilarious.
I don't know. Some people are still buried there, but it's like a historical cemetery. I mean, it's like Civil War cemetery.
I'm picturing fire jugglers and then like a mourning young kid over in the corner there. Yeah.
They still need to make money,
Sure.
like, but it's not like anyone's buying plots got it anymore.
Pre-buy.
But it's huge and it's beautiful and it is great. But like, not just the cemetery, but all these things. They have events, but I never know when they are. I never know, like, and I can check their website, I can check their whatever. But if it was like, hey, no, this Saturday I plan to, my wife and I wanted to go out and do something, then it could be like, hey, here's the events in Brooklyn that are going on, and make it, make a plan or make a day out of it.
This is yes. Because like it's really hard to host an event and create events. So it works on the other side. And you're like, oh, I'm going to make this event, but I don't know who's going to show up. Well, if you have this whole Visitors Bureau of people with a list that's like, I got 100 people looking for date ideas, just come up with a date night segment, or like buy one, get one pizza, flatbread, and my wife and I will be there, So
right.
Totally.
No, I like that. It works both ways. Yeah. Would you guys use this? We're all married. We're all married men.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 1,000%.
I totally
like absolutely use it.
I'm thinking of all the like there's 100 that have tried this. You got your like Facebook local events and you've got your whatever. I'm trying to think why has it fallen short? It's just the Visitors Bureau is brilliant. I never think to go to them for anything ever.
They actually have the information.
And they don't need to make money.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to, is there's no business for them. They can lose money doing this.
Yeah.
Well, what if would you pay money for this?
No.
Instant date. What if they saved you money?
The money comes from the businesses. I don't think you need to charge the people.
I'm not
Why
paying
not?
for it.
Your local restaurants go to the Visitors Bureau and they pay a little bit for the cannon of the fire hose of people that the Visitors Bureau send their way.
You all know we're all going to password share. Like, what?
Subscribe. Okay, so then
Yeah, no.
what if you, when you subscribed, you always got the couples discount? So you were always making money. It was as long as you use their service, you were making $10 a month, and then every time you use their service, you get a $10 coupon.
Now you're having to make now they have to make a deal with the business. They're not going to get some businesses because they can't abide by the deal.
Businesses.
Then it doesn't encompass everything. I want it to encompass everything.
Well, it's
Russell, I almost like your variation of you're the one who physically called this tourism bureau. You got the names and the cool ideas. Can we utilize that part where this is a separate business where we're using the bureau as a resource in order to create our own catalog of cool things in each city?
So just
you're siphoning government money. Right, got it.
Give me all the information you have, and I'm going to commercialize it.
Right.
It's public. I paid for your tax dollars.
You're just scraping their website.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like that he talked to a real person here who actually knows the town inside and out. It's not just
I like that too.
SEO boosted article saying how Russ's is the best restaurant in West Michigan or something.
That's the thing. I can't trust like these blog posts anymore. Travel, like Yelp. Everybody's figured out a way to like break the reviews.
Yeah,
and you're like, what am I?
Yep.
I can't look for anything. I'm just gonna find it myself, or like look at the menus online now all the time. So.
That's your value
Yeah.
prop. This was told us by a real person who works for the city.
That's right. You have like people that spend their whole life just every day.
And that's how you know
Thinking
it's
about the
good.
best places for Russell to go on a date.
Yes. Listen, sometimes you just need, like, you know how many freaking dates you're responsible for? We're all four married dudes, so you're responsible for the birthday date, the anniversary date, the Valentine's Day, the every single one. It's just like, can't we just outsource one of the 10 that we're responsible for?
Can't I just
Carrie doesn't
outsource
listen
one
to
of
this,
them?
though, right? She doesn't listen to this podcast.
I think her dad, some other people listen to this.
Like half our subscribers.
Is there anything I can do to automate my relationship with my wife? It's too much work.
You know she's standing behind you right now, Russell.
Listen,
no.
there are other ways to show that you care about your significant other. Sometimes it's not making a decision on where to go to eat, which is, or where to do. Like, sometimes you just need to, like, what's a good, I've done the make your own pasta thing. I've done the make your own candle thing. Like,
Right.
paint and pour. Everybody that I know is in a long-term relationship has a picture that you and your significant other have painted together, probably, and is hanging somewhere. It's like, we're running out of date ideas.
Have you forged a knife yet as a date?
See, we need more of those,
So
Doyle.
good.
What'd you have there, Scott?
That's the painting that him and probably and CJ painted, right behind you.
Oh, I love that. The boat he's got behind
The
him.
other one.
My aunt actually painted that one. But
See,
Oh,
Leo,
yes.
what you
Oh,
said
gotcha,
is what
gotcha.
every guy, when I bring this up, would say to me. They're like, "Oh, you're not romantic enough." It's like, no, I've been romantic many times. It's 10 years. 20 years now. I need something new. I will go make a knife with my significant other if it means that it's something different. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's about having all the information. It's not about automating it. It's about having all the information, having something bring to you all the options that you never would have thought of.
But tailored
know?
to where you're currently living.
So,
I love that.
Well, hopefully you can get there within a day.
like,
yeah.
okay, Doyle, I think you hit something that I'm really excited about now, like knife making. But then, like, what?
Oh, that wasn't a joke.
They
They
do?
have that here. They have it like, yeah. Oh, it's expensive as hell, but they have it. And then you can be like, I love you so much that I forged this knife with you, and you can kill me at any moment with it. And that's just how much I trust
That
you.
is weirdly and scary romantic.
See, you could like
Thank
there are
you.
a bunch of, like, let's say you're a wood shop, right? And you literally manufacture wood products. All of a sudden, the Visitors Bureau is like, "Hey, we have like 100 couples looking for dates and calling every month. Would you create a class once a month for making a birdhouse?" And now all of a sudden, businesses are like, "Oh shoot, maybe I
That's a good add-on. I like
add
that.
something crazy." And it's more about the Visitors Bureau being like a network of, or a holder of all these couples in the local community, and redirecting them to businesses. Because, man, I don't know, if you guys aren't romantic enough out there and you run out of ideas, it's 10 years. That means you have to have how many, like, wait, what's the number? Somebody do a number crunch here.
Right? No,
10 dates a year. You've been in a relationship for 10 years. That means you have to figure out 100 things to do. That's not that much, is it?
Yeah.
All right, Leo, what do you got?
All right. I have a friend and colleague who is the coolest person in the world. Hello, Reagan, if you are listening. She plays Fantasy Great British Bake Off with 10 friends. They buy in. They not only choose like who's going to be Star Baker and who's going to be going out this week, but they also do like, will Paul Hollywood be in the intro this week? And will Noel be wearing a shirt with an animal on it? And they put in real money for it. And they have a whole system with Google Forms and spreadsheets to decide how people are winning. I think this is the coolest thing in the
Incredible.
world, right? My pitch this week,
I
this is not the pitch.
love that.
The pitch is, why is there no fantasy sports app, but for custom things? Like, I'm going to be the commissioner of the Fantasy Survivor League.
Oh, man.
I'm going to be the fantasy Keeping Up with the Kardashians commissioner for this year. Will there be a fight between X and Y or whatever? So there is a custom fantasy sports app. It doesn't seem great. Somebody's sort of started this idea, but it doesn't pull from anything. You're on the hook for manual, whatever. If you go to the season of Great British Bake Off on Wikipedia, there are detailed charts with what each person made, who was star baker, who got voted out. It's all on the internet. So we need to automate the idea and build the league for people. You can have suggestions. You can even feed all this into GPT-4 and say, hey, how would you structure a game that's built off of this TV show, this
Here's
movie?
All the information about it.
Let's play fantasy. What's going to be in the movie theaters this fall and what will do well? Fantasy Oscars, right? You could do all sorts of things where you structure the data and you have points, you have bidding, however you want to build it, where the app keeps track of it for you, right? And then you can pull all this stuff from Wikipedia, from Twitter, from whatever you want to pull it from, and make it automated. Because nobody is going into their fantasy sports app and like entering in what the score was between the Buffalo Bills and the whoever this week, right? The beauty of it is that it takes care of all that stuff for you, and that doesn't exist yet. And I want it to, both for my friend Reagan and for the world.
Okay. Two things. One, that is a fantastic idea. I love this. Two, Breaking Bad season 6. We were living in college and a bunch of guys at the time when that came out, and we had a whiteboard in our kitchen, a huge whiteboard with everyone's bet about what was going to happen for the next episode each week. Like, is Hank going to die this week, or is this guy going to get captured, or blah blah blah? And like, we took that very seriously, and I love this.
I love this idea too. I mean, I've never wanted to be in a fantasy league of any sort until you just said the words Great British Bake Off Fantasy League.
It's so cool.
And yes, number one, yes, I want that. And B, no, I mean, I think this it needs a platform. I mean, it's a huge growing industry, so much so that John Oliver did a thing saying it needs to stop.
Oh wow!
And
of course, that's how you know it's good.
No, not really. Just like the FanDuel and DraftKings and all that is getting insane. But anyways, all that aside, no, like it should be pretty simple in the sense of you should be able to decide what data is being tracked or being, and then I mean I think you'd still have to put the data in a bit, right? Like it doesn't know if the Kardashians got in a fight that episode. Like that's, you know what I mean? Unless you're having AI try to determine from like the transcript or the closed captions of the show, maybe.
Over on how many times they curse or whatever it is. Yeah.
But if you can just put the data in once, if you can just be watching the episode and be like, it has the list of things people are betting on, and then your commissioner or whatever is like, yep, that happened. Yep, this whatever. But then it gives you all the stats, all the breakdowns, all the tables, all the whatever after, which just data entry once, I think is doable.
You could have voting. Yeah. You could have like everyone have to reach consensus on whether or not that counted as a thing, have it all being voted in there. Yeah.
Guys, this is how FanDuel and DraftKings breaks into a whole market segment of women that haven't thought about gambling, but know that person's going to get the rose on The Bachelor, that knows that they're going to like the reality TV show segment is insane. And so you just are like, hey, how much do you actually know that? And then you have guys sitting on their FanDuel app all of a sudden that's like, hey, I got $50 on a Bachelor gambling, maybe I'll just ask my
Bachelor gambling.
Yeah. All right. You guys watch The Bachelor? Like all of a sudden, you start asking your friends about The Bachelor and they will tell you everything about it, who's up next, who they think is going to get gone. And now you're like, I think I'm just going to bet $50.
Who's going to be the next Bachelorette?
There are Vegas odds for everything. Yeah. And if you could get into some of those APIs for, who's going to be the next Speaker of the House or whatever, people are bidding on all this stuff. Only you're just making it for like your friends.
Yeah, Vegas will just give that
away.
I remember seeing the Vegas odds of who's going to get the Iron Throne in like season 6 of Game of Thrones. And they had all of their bets up.
Dude, we did this in college with, what was the one? The two armies fighting
World's
against...
Deadliest Warrior.
That's it.
On Spike TV. He gave us this show, World's Deadliest Warrior, where they just have two random people in history. Like, I'm going to take a pirate and fight a knight or something. Who's going to win? Or a Spetsnaz soldier against a World War II Marine or something. But they would give you the list of who's fighting who at the beginning of each season. And we had huge betting pools of, I think this person's going to win this one and this one's going to win this one. Yeah, Russell, that's an excellent example.
What if this app, okay, say you're in a Great British Bake Off pool, right? And there's probably 10, 100, 1,000 other Great British Bake Off pools, right? Now, people are placing their bets in their own pool, but our app looks across pools to aggregate
Love
the
that.
Totally.
odds.
Figures out what the most popular
Right?
types of bets are and whatnot.
Right. What people think is going to
Yep.
happen, and then adjust the odds for everybody's pools
Oh,
based
yes.
off of all the pools and what people are betting on.
The tech podcast Hard Fork a couple months ago talked about this. They had one of the two guys went and did a I think this is a New York Times thing. So there's a whole world around forecasting nerds, the manifold markets, and it's this exact thing. They take will the CEO of Twitter still be Linda Yaccarino in 6 months from now? Yes or no? And people are all betting real money on it. Manifold.markets. That's the one. But the idea is like, can you use the wisdom of the crowds to guess how will the Israel-Hamas war end or whatever,
That's crazy.
House Speaker. SBF trial. Will he be guilty? Or will we get a government shutdown? That's a current thing that's being threatened right now or whatever. It's crazy. And you can actually do real data science off of this. People always say like, I bet you $10 that X is going to happen next week. Oh yeah? Well, let's put your money where your mouth is. Let's do it. That's the idea of manifold markets now.
I mean, he was right. Twitter did become X.
Boo. Yes, it did. Cultural vandalism. I want to be on the record about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, turning that but a game amongst friends, I think, is the key that nobody's done yet.
I think keeping it amongst friends also honestly puts you legally
Yeah.
more in the safe zone, in the sense that once you get into like serious betting outside of like a small group of friends, that's where where things get more regulated.
Sure.
And that's where like the problems with FanDuel and DraftKings is kind of coming from. But like if you can keep it, there's less money to be honest. There's less money to be made if you keep it with people with friends. But I
It's
think
more wholesome.
legally, and some would argue
Yeah.
morally, probably
Yeah.
better to keep it like office pools.
Yeah. Fantasy
Really
is so
wanna
fun that
execute
I don't really
this.
care about the NFL too much, and I still enjoy fantasy football. It's the decision making coaching side of things, and there's a lot of things that I care a lot more about than football that I would love to fantasize.
Fantasy eyes?
I don't want to fantasize them. I don't think that's what that means. All right, Doyle, what do you got for us this week?
All right. I have a couple ideas, but I have one that I decided to share for this because I feel like time is of the essence before somebody does it. And I just want to say,
I thought of it first.
Yes.
I saw you.
Yes.
I knew it.
Write it in an envelope, mail it to yourself.
Right, yeah, exactly. But anyways, so I'm sure you guys are all familiar with like the low code, no code movement of app
Oh, sure.
of creating apps, in the sense that like there's not enough trained programmers and coders or whatever to make all the new apps with all the new updates for everything always all at once. So they've come up with a lot of things. They've come up with like node-based making of apps and dragging and dropping elements to have it write its own CSS, HTML, whatever. I was thinking you take a UI like Unreal Engine. Are you guys familiar with how Unreal Engine does its programming? For anybody who's not, the idea for Unreal Engine is it has all the things out of the box that you might need to put onto a screen, right? But when you get down to how two objects or two things should interact, you can pull pre-written code that's just shown to you in a little box, and on the left has inputs and on the right has output. And when it comes down to programming, everything is just sort of inputs and output, right? So you take your user input node and you hook it up into a little black box, and then that little black box does something and outputs it. Now the programmer's job is to know what's in that little black box. But now we have AI programmers. So I can just tell the AI, I want these inputs to have these outputs every time. And maybe I hook it up to a database. And then it will write the code again and again and again until it passes all your tests. And then now you have a little box that does one specific thing. And you do that one by one by one for like node-based graph of how you want your data flow for your app to go.
Like a flowchart, you mean? Node-based. You mean flowcharting, yeah.
Yeah, like a flowchart, sort of, kind of in the same way that Unity does. You can grab little code blocks that you move around and you have them all interact with each other. But now I don't have to know how to write any of it. I just am describing to the AI what I want each box to do. Small, contained, solvable problems, but I'm giving it the larger algorithmic architecture of the app.
I'd use this. Yeah, absolutely.
And then if you want, you can go under the hood, look at the code, fix something if it's simple, or if you know, or if you do have knowledge, you can tell it to write the whole thing in a language you know so that you have the better ability to debug it. But all it knows is inputs and outputs.
You know what's funny, Doyle? Like in coding, there's this thing called test-driven development,
Yeah.
where you write these tests and all the coders are supposed to do is pass the tests. And so in a way, you've just said the people that write tests, which are like, I don't think typically the senior level coders can become the developers themselves because they just write really good tests. And so the stronger their tests that they build, you're just like, AI, solve for these tests. And all of a sudden you have a working app, more or less, right? Maybe without any UI, but you just have, boom, now it works. And all of a sudden you just have the AI future, man. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. You know, people are talking about how AI is going to be writing all these programs themselves. It's going to be whatever. And I just kind of was thinking to myself, well, what would it really look like? What does it really look like when we have AI able to program accurately, correctly, most of the time, which it's pretty close now. But all that to say, like, what do those jobs look like? Those jobs look like people writing tests and creating the overall architecture of an app, but not necessarily writing every implementation of every little thing.
I feel like I have just enough coding strength to make small, really niche services for myself, and not quite enough to like build a few apps that I would like to be able to build. And if I were to break it down with a tool like what you're describing, I think that would put it just within arm's reach. I would love something like this.
Right.
I wonder if you could apply this to like other things too. Like, I guess when you're thinking about AI, it's like, oh, I want to 3D print a thing. And you just keep running a 3D print until it gets it right. I want to be able to capture a bug faster. And you just let the AI randomly... Well, I guess you don't need a 3D printer to do that. You could just have it generate that. But I guess, it's...
Well, it generates 10,000 iterations, and the test that you've defined is efficiency for catching bug or whatever. Yeah.
So I actually tried to write one of our early ideas in this show. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to see if I could actually create this or not. And I don't know how to code. And so I went to Chat GPT and I said, I described the app that I wanted. And I said, make this for me. And it wrote a Python script. And then I ran the Python script and it was buggy and it did blah, blah, blah. And it didn't run. And so I have no idea how to troubleshoot or fix this. So I just copied all the errors at the bottom, put them back into Chat GPT and said, fix it. So I tried it again. And then after like 3 or 4 iterations of that, I had a fully working app. And or at least a section of the app that I wanted to do, one of the features. So then I did that again with another one of the features that I wanted to do. I need this to light up this color, blah, make it happen. 3 or 4 iterations, boom. And by the end of it, I had like 6 different code sets. And then I copied all of them to the Chat GPT and I said, put all these together in one. And 3 or 4 iterations later, I had a beautiful state machine and working code.
Well, I mean, that's the idea of programming, right? Is you should be able to write a function that works when you give it the inputs and it gives the same outputs. And then you just do that 100 times. So you have 100 functions. And then you have one thing that determines what order you do those functions in. And I mean, it's nested dolls all the way up. But yeah, I mean, that's really all it is. There's actually, that was reminding me, there was somebody who did make a thing similar to what your method, but like he made like a package called Wolverine, which all it does is it looks over your shoulder basically at your screen at what you're typing. And then when it runs an error, it's like, hey, I know what that error was. Do you want me to fix it? Or do you want to fix it yourself? And then you go, you fix it. And then it fixes it. Cool. And then, it makes a mistake, right? It declares a variable that would be needed, but never declares it. Rather, it mentions a variable that would be needed, but is never declared. And then a new error pops up and it goes, oh, whoops, that was me. And it fixes that and it'll just do it over and over again until it runs into no errors. And it's like, all right, you take it from here, and then you just keep typing along until you hit another error. And it's like, oh, I can fix that.
Wow.
and it called it Wolverine because it's self-healing. It just continually goes over and over and over again until it works.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball here for a second, but I'm wondering, can you so hypothetically, it's inputs and outputs, right? You were saying, let's say you created a connection to the Unity engine, and the goal was, I want to be a better dancer. Okay, so you go on an Xbox Connect and you do your dance moves, and then the inputs and outputs, right, is you input your dance moves, and the output is better dance moves, or it tells you what's wrong. Use Unity to capture information, and then output is, what if I set the output to make this model dance better, right? The 3D model.
Sure.
Could you do stuff like that? That's something that could be done, right?
And if you can get that going in real time in a VR headset where it's tracking where your arms and legs are in, Russell, you got how you have the piano learning things where it's kind of like Guitar Hero, they're falling and you're pressing them in order. You got that, but it's a wireframe of where your body needs to be next. And how do I move from here to here to get to get my dance moves?
Yeah.
If anyone's going to have the real time, it's going to be Pixar will in a few years. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but they post all their white papers about how they do their 3D stuff on their website. You can go to Pixar and read their full research white paper on how Sully has 1 million trillion hairs on his body and how they render that all in real time.
We got super in the nerd weeds this week. I love it. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good.
Thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed yourself this week. And thank you, Doyle, for coming here. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, I had a lot of fun. Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
You said you have several ideas, so we got to have you back here so we can get that next one out of you, all right?
That's why I didn't talk about any of the other ones.
Oh, yeah.
Self-invited back on.
Already looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Our website is spitball.show. Please, if you wouldn't mind, email us some feedback, your thoughts, your comments, your ideas. We want to hear more about the pitches you heard and what your thoughts are on them, and if you have some of your own. Maybe this sparked an idea for your low-code, no-code solution. Email us at podcast@spitball.show. We read everything. We'd love to hear from you. And that's also how you can follow us on the Fediverse, such as Mastodon. We're podcast@spitball.show. Our subreddit is r/spitballshow. Our intro and outro music is Swingers by Bonkers Beat Club. And please, if you wouldn't mind, you're listening on a podcast app, pull over that car, stop your jog for a moment, hit us with that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, subscribe and add us wherever you're listening right now, Spotify. We would love to hear it. It's the best way for people to find out about the show. A new episode is coming out soon. We will see you then.